I'm alive. Hello, guys. How are we all doing on this very fine Monday evening? Absolutely sweating right here in the office, but I thought I would just jump on for an hour or so and simply answer any questions that any of you guys have. I guess, real quick, let me know if you can hear me. If not, then I've just wasted my breath. Just let me know if you can hear me. Ash, how's it going? He says, "Hi, George. How are you?" Ash, yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you? If you haven't already done so, do us a massive favor. Just hit that like button. We are going to have a nice conversation tonight. We're going to be, you know, talking about whatever we want to talk about tonight. Yeah, guys, do me a massive favor. I can see 30 of you in here right now. That is brilliant. Just do me a massive favor. Hit that thumbs up button if you have not already done so. But yeah, what is the point of tonight's live stream? So, of course, I want to catch up with you guys. I want to hear what you've all been up to. But I also want to just give this hour or so, like I said, just literally answer any questions that you guys have, and hopefully help you guys out in any way that I can possibly do, because I haven't done something like this in a while. Typically, when I do a live stream, it's to give some sort of update or to let you guys know what's sort of happening behind the scenes. But yeah, tonight I just want to give you guys an hour or so to just literally help you guys out. It's not something that I get to do a whole bunch. I've been busy with one thing or another, but yeah, I get so many Instagram messages, emails, Facebook messages, and all the rest of it. Asking for my help. They send me a fault code that they're getting on their car, and they're asking, what do I think it is, or they'll send me like a video of their car making a specific noise, and they're asking what I think the problem is. Just gonna be straight up, I don't have time to sit and reply back to all those messages. So if you are watching this and you are one of those people that have sent me one of those messages, then I apologize, but I just don't have time to get back to you. I do always recommend, if you do need my help, you genuinely need my help with something, join the Patreon. That's what it's there for. I think there's like 6 or 7 people on there right now. I have all the time in the world for those people. Those are the people that really support the channel. And as I mentioned before, all of the Patreon earnings basically just go straight towards the channel. Yeah, I have 7 Patreon members at the moment. Just going to read them out real quick. Shout out to Ryan Loss, Mark Butler, Dennis Twigg, Martin Higgins, Jim Harper, Elliot Davis, and Ninpo. But yeah, with that now out of the way, guys, just feel free to fire some questions away, and I will look forward to hearing what you have. Like I said, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button. It really does help me out. Let's try and get as many people in here as possible tonight. Don't be shy. Like I said, feel free to answer. Feel free to ask any questions. But what I do say is, if you are going to ask a question, make sure you have, like I said, hit that like button. It does more than you could ever imagine. It really does help me out. Right then, so let's just fire away and get through a few comments. Daniel, appreciate that. Loud and clear, matey. Good stuff. Can hear you. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. Ray, forever. I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you? Morning, mate. Bryce, how's it going on that mighty fine Tuesday morning in New Zealand? Hope you are well, mate. Madara, hi guys. How's it going? What's the show about? Well, hopefully I've just sort of cleared that up. Yo, says Homegrown Media. My E60 drops power for a split second when accelerating. Any ideas? What engine do you have? I'm gonna just take a random guess and assume that you have an M57. I'm gonna guess 530D. But yeah, when you are asking some questions, try to be as specific as possible. You know, if you just say your E60, I need to know which engine you have, which model, and all the rest of it. So, yeah, if you are asking car questions, try and make them specific. Djan, hello, George. One question, please. I have an E61 with Mass 2. If I upgrade to CIC, how complicated is it to upgrade MULF 2 as well? I think it'd likely just be a case of swapping out the module and then just the programming side of things. That's as difficult as it gets. You may have to swap over one or two pins in the plug connector, but it's really shouldn't be that difficult. BMW 320D exhaust vibration absorber. Is it essential and does it make a difference? To be honest, no idea. I'm guessing you're on about the rubber kind of stopper on the back of, on the rear section of the exhaust. Yeah, I don't know. It's on my 130i as well. I don't know if it makes any difference. I'm going to be completely honest. Just a quick question. If I blank the EGR, do I need to remove the DPF as well? No, you do not need to, but it is I don't know if it's common knowledge. I obviously haven't done the test myself, but people basically say that your DPF will block up easier. So do you need to remove it? No. Is it best to remove your DPF as well? Yes, I would say. EGR and DPF, I would say they pretty much take up, more than 50% of all engine problems you'll have. So if you just remove the EGR and the DPF, you're basically cutting all potential engine problems in half. I would remove both of them if it was me. Sam's, my aircon sometimes blows cold air, then sometimes doesn't blow cold air. Sometimes blows cold air, but then sometimes doesn't blow cold air. Any reason why I had it regassed recently? Is there a difference in how much air comes out? Like do you notice a difference in how ferocious the air is when when it comes out warm to when it comes out cold? Is there any difference in that? I'm just thinking, I wonder if it could be your blower motor. Sometimes I get an eggy smell 3 vents after driving for a while for a short time. 318D 2011. Is that when you are stationary, Homegrown Media? Hi, George. Temperature gauge bouncing around on E36 never goes halfway, but often at Stone Cold, even when cars at operating temperature, seems to be affected by going up hills or on level. Never goes above halfway, but often at Stone Cold. I mean, obviously, the obvious thing that you would say would be a thermostat, but it's hard to say. For the price of a thermostat, I would probably just swap it out and see if that fixes your issue. Should I JB weld on a broken AC pipe? No, don't do that. Way too high pressure. Just replace the AC pipe. You can just get a used one. You don't have to buy brand new, but don't JB weld one. 520D 47 M47. I don't know if it's N47 or M47, but your original question was drops power for a split second when accelerating. That could be your EGR. Do you notice it around sort of 2000 RPM? It could be your EGR valve sticking open. That's why I say just delete it. With anything though, you really need to scan your car for fault codes, and that generally points you in the right direction. ABS light on BMW 3 Series 318D after front suspension collapsed. Probably in just an ABS sensor. Either the wires got snagged or, you know, it's broke the actual, you know, the sensor is basically just a magnet on the end. Tell Autodoc to change. I don't work for Autodoc, but yeah, I hear people have problems with Autodoc. I mean, I have had problems in the past, but that was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Lately, I mean, granted, I don't make orders too frequently. Maybe, I don't know, once every few months. I haven't really had too many issues. Like it's been, you know, it's been pretty much smooth sailing. I seem to get my items within like a week or so, which, you know, it's coming from Germany, so you really can't complain with that. Right. Danny, hello, George. I've recently bought an F30 N47 2014 133k, and the clock started up today, and it sounded like time chain rattle, but drives okay. Do you recommend changing timing chain? Yes, I do. To answer that, I don't have anything regarding Bluetooth connection whatsoever. I'm guessing you have a really early E60 then. It's got to be like a, I don't know, like 2003, 2004. Excuse me. Just eating my dinner while doing this. Good question. Is it necessary? No, but what you don't want to do is reinstall injectors and then have them not sealed properly, and you know, have fuel coming out the top of your rocker cover. That's definitely not fun. Ask me how I know that. So yeah, I literally have a video how to reseat injectors. Just check it out. Basically, use a reaming tool, put some grease on there, and you're fine. When you say you don't want metal shavings ending up in the cylinders, you don't really take much material, if any, from the bottom of the injector seats. You're really just cleaning up, you know, and getting rid of any of the carbon more than anything. When you're moving, eggy smell when you, I mean, that could, it could just be the DPF regenerator. If it's like completely random, if it's not like, you know, in certain driving conditions. But I've also had DPF problem now, also EGR cooler problems. See, most of these questions are regarding DPF and EGR. That's why I just recommend just get rid of them. They will always cause you problems. Even if you replace your EGR valve, even if you replace your EGR cooler, even if you replace your DPF, you're going to have the same issues over and over and over again. Save yourself money, save yourself time, save yourself a headache, save yourself potential, you know, big money failures like a turbo failure, you know, like an intake manifold, you know, burning the hole in it. Just save yourself those headaches and just delete both of them. Could a 318D 2011 pass MOT with EGR and DPF delete, or would I need a friendly garage? Yes, you can pass absolutely fine as long as you have a healthy engine. You know, you're not producing excessive black smoke. You should be absolutely fine. The 525D that I have, that I'm basically going to be selling in the next week or so. I just need to finish off the last couple of bits. I don't really know, but I'm fairly certain it has an EGR and a DPF delete. I don't think it's got a physical EGR delete. I think it's just, you know, turned off from the software or whatever. But I'm pretty sure it's got a DPF delete. And yeah, that passed its MOT emissions absolutely fine. So as long as you have a healthy engine, you know, you'll be fine. Almo, no worries. You're welcome. Yeah, guys. Yeah, again, like I said, don't be shy. Make sure you are hitting the like button. Yeah, we are going to be on here for an hour or so, just basically answering any questions you have. I can see we have 26 of you in here right now, so don't be shy. My 123D has a bearing sound coming from the front left side of car when it's out of gear. Sound increase with revs. Wheel bearing. Sorry, Dawn. Yes, wheel bearing possibly. Dynamic drive issue on F10. Fluid is bubbling out of the reservoir. The fluid is only used to stiffen up the stabilizer. Rack is electric, system blade and no leaks. Any ideas? Pump. It could be the pump. You can do a test with ISTA to make sure that the pump is putting out the correct pressure. But I would be inclined to say that it may be just your reservoir. Not people, for whatever reason, still don't know this, but the reservoir itself contains a filter. When that gets blocked up, that's when you have the fluid typically splurging out of the top of it. So yeah, swap out the filter, do a good flush, and see if you're any better off. It's a never-ending cycle, Danny. Rattle of Death, good mine has a way to go at HK miles. Actually, Danny, here's a question for you. How often has, I mean, I don't know if you know, I don't know if you have the service history to hand, but do you know how often the oil has been changed in your N47 engine? If not very often, that speeds up time and chain failure. ABC, how you doing, dude? Not seen your videos for a while. Hope you're well. Interesting. Why? Why? As if you're going to know. It's interesting because YouTube has definitely stopped recommending my videos to people. Obviously, I had a bit of a break, went on a trip to Europe, obviously went to Nürburgring, stuff like that. And because I was so busy before, I couldn't get videos scheduled for when I was away. That's typically what I try to do. I try to basically work around the clock and get videos to go live while I'm away. But because I couldn't do that, it didn't happen. And so I had like a 3-week break from YouTube, essentially, of uploading no videos. When you do that, YouTube basically put you to the bottom of the pile and they don't recommend any of your videos. So I'm now sort of trying to play catch up where, you know, sort of before I went away, my average views on videos were like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 views. Now they're like around about 1,000. So yeah, dropped off massively, which obviously hasn't helped my obviously hasn't helped my bank balance at all, but it is what it is. Nothing can be done about it. I just need to get back to uploading regular, consistent videos again, which I'm not, out of ideas. There's so many videos that need to be done, so many cars that need to get ticked off. So yeah, don't worry. There are plenty of videos on the way. But yeah, ABC, I'm not sure what your name is. Do you want to see any kind of videos in particular? Which types of videos do you prefer watching? And did you see any of my videos from when I was away, like from when I went to the BMW museum or to the Nürburgring or anything like that? That is so strange. I've never seen an LCI E60 without Bluetooth. It must be a very, very base model. How are people getting around deleting the EGR, the cooler, and DPF in terms of MOT? My last MOT guy checked everything around these points in specifically with a eagle eye. That's interesting, because how does your MOT tester know what an EGR valve looks like on, every car? Like how do they know what they're looking for? So I don't know how we can look for one. Also, not only that, most EGR valves are covered by an engine cover of sorts, and they can't, go removing engine covers to check to see if it's there. Like, that's not allowed on an MOT. Not only that, as well, you can remove an EGR and a DPF without actually having it look like it's removed. Like, you can put a blanking plate in, you can gut a DPF, or you can just, remove the EGR, from the software. So yeah, there's lots of ways you can do it. I mean, whenever I have removed a DPF in the past, I have just gutted them. So you still retain the downpipe essentially, or the box, basically what the DPF lives in. It still looks like it's there, but there's basically just hollow. So that's what I can recommend, basically. Okay, where are we at? No worries, Home Grow Media. Let me know how you get on. What's up? How's it going, Peter? Hope you're well. Haven't seen you in here in a good while. Thank you very much. No worries. Could the EGR cooler cause a problem with the swivel flap? 630D BMW say unrelated low mileage car. EGR cool? No, not really. The EGR potentially could, if it was sticking open and you just have constant sooty exhaust gases going through, then it is going to clog up your swivel flaps a whole lot quicker. But not the EGR cooler. The EGR cooler just cools down the exhaust gases going in. So yeah, it's not really going to change the sootiness of them, basically. But yeah, if it was me, just get rid of the EGR system as a whole. I feel like setting the car on fire. I've been there before, definitely. I've only had the car 7 weeks. I was going to service it this week. Hi, for all 20 gearbox, is it better to have an oil change with a flash? I'm guessing you are planning on tuning the gearbox. Is that what you mean? Like, is it best to service it before you do that? Yes, I would always recommend that. And that goes for, like an engine remap as well. I would always recommend that you keep your car well maintained, regular oil changes, all the rest of it. Because if you don't and you do tune it, anything that hasn't potentially been done, like a weak point, is only going to be highlighted more when you have a remap. I have a 7 Series 716. It runs like it's missing at 1.5k revs. Not really bad, just enough to be annoying. When you say it's missing, do you mean the revs are kind of bouncing, fluctuating? Is that what you mean? If it was actually misfiring, if that's an injector, spark plug, or ignition coil, it would throw a code. Just what I needed right now, says Liam. I wanted to get a walnut blasted, but was told not to. You can. A lot of people get the N73 engine walnut blasted. You don't need to, though. I actually cleaned the intake ports. This is going to sound ridiculous. I clean the intake ports and the intake valves with brake cleaner. Now hear me out. Don't worry. I didn't damage the engine or anything. You can do that. I've done that on multiple engines. I've done it on the M57 engine. Basically, you just need to remove the intake plenum, intake manifold, whatever it may be, and just spray brake cleaner basically down into the intake ports and onto the intake valves. With it being said, though, you can only do this if you have either removed the spark plugs or the glow plugs, because if you just do that, if you spray enough down into there, you'll end up hydro locking your engine. I think I had somebody comment or message me recently about this actually. But basically the best way to clean your intake ports, and that's basically the best way that I've found to do it. So yeah, you just keep cleaning it, keep spraying your brake cleaner, and then you can just turn over your engine. Crank your engine. All that excess brake cleaner then will, most of it will have already evaporated, but any excess will literally just fly out of the engine. It'll just come out of the spark plug holes or the glow plug holes. Thanks a lot. I have another question. Same car. Is there any way to check the condition of the change without dismantling the engine? Bought the car from a lot and there's no service records. You can check the top chain by taking off the rocker cover. That's about it. I mean, you can check it for slack. That's about it. But apart from that, you need to take off the timing cover. So yeah, that's really the only thing you can do. Right, let's eat some more of my dinner. I have an FRM short circuit and no silence and brake light that flickers randomly. Best way to tackle it? More than likely your FRM is fried and needs replacing. You can get a used one and then it just needs programming to the car. Have you thank you. Have you tried jump starting your car recently? Have you tried hooking anything directly up to the battery. That's usually when you end up frying your FRM. If it's not that, then I would potentially say you have a leak, you have an ingress of water. That can be also something else that fries your FRM. Hi, pal. Just got my 320D E92 09 plate. EGR valve blocked and stage 1 remat. Any precautions in terms of engine maintenance? I probably have a good few videos for you to watch, King Kong. Just look at my N47/N57 common problems, and I'll basically go over everything in that video, everything you probably want to replace, and anything you can possibly think of on the N47 to replace. I will have done a video on it, so feel free to check them out as well. Crazy. When I take my cars for a remap, I service before and after. Does it mean you give it an oil change, you then take it for a remap, and you give it another oil change? What do you think of manual or 5W30 for my BMW? Proper cheap and meets the specs. Yeah, I've used it for, I don't know, best part of 5 years. No complaints from me. Norris of Loxley. That's exactly what it's doing. I'll pay you to do mine. I forgot what your question was. So I'll have to find it. Oh, sorry. Yes, it was. It was about the misfire, wasn't it, on your 760? Yeah. So if the revs are bouncing like that, it could actually be your torque converter slipping. That's generally what it is, and it is a common problem. Whether or not it needs doing right away, it probably doesn't, but it's just one of those things that you kind of either have to live with, or you get your torque converter swapped out. Jordan, try and service your gearbox. I'm going to assume you're over 100,000 miles at this point. It that happened on the on my old X5. That was on just over 100,000 miles. Exactly the same. The revs would hold, and then then I serviced it, and it was absolutely fine. Also did reset the adaptions as well, which can help, but I wouldn't do that unless you are servicing it. Right. Full gas, no traction. Hi, George. E46 330 CI, intermittent low coolant warning. Level is always normal when I manually check. Faulty sensor, or does it need bled? Yeah, that's it. I would just do the easy thing. I would just bleed it first, and then just to cancel that out, I have a bunch of videos how to bleed a cooling system. So yeah, I would do that first, and then if it isn't, then yeah, like you said, I would. You kind of answered your own question. I would then probably swap out the sensor. Oh well, I'm quite far behind. Oh, Hank, what a legend, mate! You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Um, nonetheless, I massively do appreciate it. That's going to go straight towards the garage build. 100%. Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, you don't have to donate on the live stream. I'm just here to help as many people as I can. Tonight we're going to be going for another 25 minutes or so. I'm sure I answered your question, Dawn. But you said, oh, so it's an engine noise. 123, 123D bearing noise from left of engine bay when car is stationary. Increase with revs chuffing sound. If you have a chuffing sound, that'll be your injectors. Take off your engine cover and have a look on the top of your engine. So, basically in and around your injectors, there'll more than likely be a lot of black soot. That's called Black Death, if you've never heard of it before. If you do have that, that's your injectors need reseating and new copper seals on them. Very, very common problem, but that's more than likely what the chuffing sound is. As for a bearing, that could be anything. I'd recommend taking your drive belt off and starting up the engine, see if it goes away. If it is, probably something on the drive belt system. We have another super sticker from Liam. Liam, you're a legend. I appreciate that, mate. Like I said, you don't have to donate in this live chat. It's not what it's about. I'm just here to help as many people as I can. But yeah, it's greatly appreciated. Like I said, anything that we get through this live stream, or anything, as I mentioned, through the Patreon, literally goes towards the garage. So yeah, greatly appreciated. Why do you think my E65 730D is regenerating the DOC too frequently, the DPF too frequently? I don't think I've heard of a DPF regenerating too frequently, unless it's like a case of it being gutted and it's trying to do regeneration. But yeah, sorry, Stuart, I can't answer that. Like I said, I can't really think of too many instances where I've heard of the DPF regenerating too frequently. But it's one of them. It's another DPF problem, isn't it? Like I said, you're always going to have EGR and DPF problems on the diesel. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess. Cool, Sandy. Hi, George. Sorry I'm late. Hope I didn't miss much. No. Probably not. Just a bunch of people asking questions. That's basically what I'm here for tonight. Like I said, I've got an hour or so. I just thought I'd jump on and give people a chance to ask questions. As I mentioned, people do message me, they email me, they try and ask in the comments very specific questions. Basically asking for my help, for me to help. Help for me to help them fix their car, with a specific question. And I just don't have time to do that. I literally get messages all day long, and there's just not enough time for me to do that. I'd literally just be on my phone all day. So I can't do that, but I just thought I'd take this hour or so to try and help as many people as I can, basically. Eris says, hi G, E90 320D traction control started playing up, then ABS light. What's your starting point to try and fix? I would say, give it a scan. If it's an ABS sensor, it'll tell you which ABS sensor. But on an E90, I'd more than likely say it's your reluctor rings, probably rusted on your drive shafts. Why do you think my E65 730D is regenerating the... I've already answered that question. Well, I didn't answer it. I couldn't help you, so I apologize about that. M57N2, what should be replaced as preventive maintenance? I change the oil every 8k kilometers and heard it all separate has to be replaced. Anything else? Yeah, I'd recommend the crankcase breather or separator, or whatever you want to call it, and then just just a general maintenance. So air filters, fuel filters, some things that will fail. Oh, that's not great. Yeah, some things that will fail. Probably things like the the crankshaft pulley. I've got a video replacing that if you want to know how to do that. What else? If it's over 100,000 miles, it's still on the original drive belt. Swap that out as well. EGR valve, DPF, swivel flaps. Apart from that, there's not a whole lot that can go wrong on the engine. M57 is a very, very reliable engine. Hi, does blocking the EGR and doing DPF delete make it difficult to pass MOT emissions test? Obviously, I can't officially answer this, but I've never had an issue. As long as your engine is healthy and it's not putting out a load of black smoke, then you're generally fine. But of course, you always do so at your own risk. Thanks for the answers and the time, George. Waiting for the next upload. No worries, Dejan. Glad that you have came in tonight. Following the FRM question, yes, I've jump started recently and had my DME underwater, but that issue has been resolved. When you say you've jump started it, you didn't jump start it directly on the battery, did you? Hello, what is the right position for clutch bearing on M47? On the lower side or on the higher side? Sorry, that's a very specific question. I can't answer that. Like, I don't know that off the top of my head. Sorry. Hanks. Oh yes, Hank. Of course. Thanks for helping the community. Not a problem. That's what I'm here for. Hey, I got an E70X5 with M57 engine. My wife used it to drive to work, only a short distance. DPF is full. Now I am going to remove it, clean it, and built it all back together. Any tips to keep the car running? I need to read that out again. Hey, I got an X5 with the M57 engine. Your wife used it to drive to work, only a short distance. You're going to remove it and clean it. Honestly, if you are going through the hassle of removing it, which I don't know if you saw my video removing the DPF on the X5, it is an absolute nightmare to remove it on that car and on that engine. It's not for the faint-hearted. Definitely not. Yeah, if you are going through all that hassle, definitely delete it. Don't just clean it and then put it back. Honestly, do not. If, like I said, if she's doing short trips as well, it's only going to get blocked up again. Just in case, I like to make sure there's no damage being done. I also take sump off to look for metal shavings, as a friend had a car remap. He drove home, it locked up. Next day going to Skeg Vegas. Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, usually like a remap is not going to cause catastrophic engine failure unless it's doing something like over fueling. Like if you are, if it's telling the injectors to be open for too long and you're basically diluting your fuel, that could lead to catastrophic engine failure. But yeah, I mean, it is, I would say it's a bit extreme taking your sump off after a remap. You generally just have to go to someone that's reputable, someone that has a good reputation, and you're generally going to be okay. How would you recommend changing an M47 engine or rebuilding? Personally, I mean, this is just a very broad opinion, you could say. I would always recommend rebuilding an engine, because it's better to rebuild an engine that you know than buying an engine that you don't know. Like take my Mini Cooper S for example. The engine was dead when I bought it. It had a burnt exhaust valve, and then we also found out that all 4 cylinders were out of spec, so it would have been burning oil. So had I not rebuilt that engine and just bought another engine, I could have had all the same problems again. I just would have been wasting my time. So yeah, always generally better off to rebuild your own engine. Of course, it generally does cost more though. So depends on your budget, I guess. Greetings from Germany. How's it going in Germany? For minor impact, timing chain failure, impact. So you've had a timing chain failure, and would I recommend rebuilding the engine? Yes, definitely. Typically, you can get away with just one of the rocker arms breaking on an M47 when the timing chain goes. That's one of the better design features of the M47. Generally, doesn't bend valves. You can't know for sure until you get in there. But yeah, you generally are, pretty okay when an M47 timing chain snaps. Sometimes it can actually crack or snap the cradle as well. Sometimes you have to replace that, but yeah, generally not too bad on the M47 when the timing chain actually snaps. Regarding the reservoir for the stabilizer fluid, is the filter that gets stuck part of the reservoir, or is it a separate part? On the schematics, I can see a part called leveling switch. Is that it? No, that's not it. It's the reservoir itself. If you drain all of the fluid out of the reservoir and then look down inside of it, you'll see basically a white circle, and you'll see the filter. It's built into it. You have to swap out the reservoir, and as you have the dynamic drive, it's not cheap. Of course, the reservoir's pretty big. I think I bought it directly from BMW when I done it on my 760 Li. I think it was about £70. But yeah, again, I have a video swapping out the reservoir and doing a full fluid flush on that. So yeah, use that as a reference point if you like. How about a 2002 BMW 325i that won't run? It's a bit vague. I need some more specifics. I've been going for 49 minutes, so we're only going to be going for another 10 minutes or so today. Like I said, don't be shy. Get some questions in. I know I'm going to reach the hour mark, and then we're going to have an influx of a good few people. So yeah, don't be shy. Get your questions in. If you have not already done so, hit the like button. I can see we have 30 of you in here and 30 likes. Now I'm going to guess those 30 people are not the 30 people that have given it a like button. I'm guessing there's some people out there who have not hit it yet. So don't be shy. Hit that like button. It helps me out, and it's completely free to do. Oh, Mine Pop. He sent a £5 via a super sticker. What a legend, mate. I appreciate that. Like I said, not expecting anyone to donate tonight, but it's greatly appreciated and it definitely does go a long way. Let's get back to the questions. George, about taking out an exhaust manifold and swapping it out with headers, is it typically a one-man job with the right tools? On which engine? Clean the Green. It differs massively depending on which engine you're talking about. I don't know if I'm going to try and pronounce your name. Zabo. I probably butchered that. Sorry. Hi, George. Do you know by any chance what is the internal diameter of the silicone caps that blocks off the coolant hoses after EGR delete on M47? I had people ask me this question on the video itself, and I don't know. Like, you just have to buy the kit. I don't know diameters and things like that off the top of my head. I've worked on that many different cars. Like, I'd have to be a lunatic if I could, memorize measurements and things like that. I mean, an easy way to know is just, measure it yourself. Get a caliper gauge in there and measure it yourself. I would have read that one. How's the weather today? Cool, Randy. It was boiling. Yeah, it was very, very warm. How's it been for you? Clean the Green. Yes, you've been more specific on the 325i. So N52 engine. It's tight. It's not something that I would recommend. If I was doing it myself, if I was swapping out the exhaust manifolds, I would lift up the engine. I'd lift the engine out of the car and doing it. I had to unbolt one of the exhaust manifolds when I was swapping out one of the coolant hoses before. And even just to unbolt it and just get it a little bit away from the engine block, like, that was not fun. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it myself. If you are doing it, do it when you are potentially doing other jobs that you can sort of pair it in with it, and like I said, remove the engine and make life a lot easier for yourself. Okay, to elaborate on the 2002 BMW 325i, so M54 engine. That won't run. It cranks, but it won't stay running. As soon as you take your foot off the gas, it cuts off the RPM. Don't stay steady. Could be a vacuum leak. So you say it won't run. It cranks, but won't stay running. So does it run, but doesn't stay running? I assume that's what you mean. As soon as you take the foot off the gas, it cuts off the RPM. It cuts off. The RPM don't stay steady. That sounds like a vacuum leak to me. And on the M54 engine, there's a couple of places where it typically can leak. So you have a crankcase breather hose that goes into the rocker cover right at the front near the oil filter. That can crack. Or you have the intake boot that goes to the throttle body. That can split. Those are generally the two most common areas that I see. If you want an easy way to check for vacuum leaks, do a smoke test. I have a video how to check for vacuum leaks using a smoke tester. I think that's what it's titled as. Check that out. Very, very easy to do once you have a smoke tester. And you'll see if you have any vacuum leaks. But to me, that's kind of what it sounds like. If it does start up and then sort of struggle to stay running. Hi, mate. Do you know where to get N47 320D F30 2013 valve cover torque diagram? I can't find any pictures. Could you please help me? Thanks, mate. So that will be the N47 D20C engine. And yeah, with 184 horsepower. I'm pretty sure, don't take my word for this, but I'm pretty sure all of the bolts are 10 Newton meters. Now, when it comes to like the torquing sequence, you can be pedantic about it. It always is best to do so. You can work your way outwards. So start in the middle and work your way outwards. That's generally, so you'd start the middle ones, and then you would, so do each corner diagonally and then start working your way around like that. That's probably what I would do. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's 10 Newton meters. Don't, go, because you will just snap the bolts and then you're in a whole world of pain. Yes, I did jump start it on the battery. Liam, kind of like I've heard it before, right? Yeah, typically when you jump start on the battery, you end up frying the footwell module, which is probably what happened in your case. It's why I've made a video explaining, before you jump start your BMW, watch this. Or I can't remember what it's called, something along those lines. Basically, I show you how to jump start an engine and how to charge a battery. You can't do it on the battery. You end up frying modules. So if there is anyone watching this, point in case, you do not jump start or charge the battery directly on the battery in a BMW. If there's terminals in the engine bay, use them. It has to go through the IBS, the intelligent battery sensor. If not, then you end up frying modules. But yeah, Liam, sorry to hear about it. It's common. Don't worry about it. Plenty of people do it. But like I said, your footwell module will just need replacing, and then you'll have to get someone to program it to the car. Fixed it, but thanks anyhow. No worries, Diane. What was it then? What you said you fixed it? You fixed it in literally 2 minutes. What was the problem then? I'm interested to know. What can I use to clean out DPF? It currently has 2 holes drilled in it, previous owner, so it probably won't clog. But what can I use to clean it? Oven cleaner? Why not just remove it completely? I mean, if it has holes already drilled into it, then it's it's letting exhaust gases right through it, so it's kind of not doing its job. So why not just remove it completely? But generally, when it comes to cleaning a DPF, you can just use high pressure water, basically like a pressure washer. That's generally all you need. Hi, George, says Jamie. How's it going, Jamie? Thanks, dude. No worries, Dawn. Do you have a video for servicing an automatic gearbox? I'm wondering if it will be easy to do on a X-Drive. On the drive, 2014 320D M Sport X-Drive. I have a couple of videos servicing an automatic transmission. First one I'm doing on my 760 Li. That's probably the most comprehensive video I have. It's like a 30 or 40 minute video. And then I have doing it on the X5 as well. That was obviously an X-Drive car. That was a bit more difficult. It was easier because the car was easier to get higher up in the air, if that makes sense. But it was more difficult because we had the transfer case in the way, and one of the bolts I had to basically make a tool to remove one of the bolts for. But yeah, check out those videos. They should be on my channel. Just search ZF transmission service, something or other. But on yours, it'd be slightly different. It's an ZF 8-speed, which I haven't done one myself, but I don't imagine it'd be that much different, if I'm being completely honest. 58 minutes. Well, we only have a couple of minutes left, guys. So if you do have any questions, don't be shy, fire away. Maybe I'll do, stick around for another couple of minutes. I don't know. But yeah, let's try and fly through things. Hi George, long time follower. I have a coolant leak with my F10, possibly after engine removal to replace timing chain. Could I check this myself, removing sound dampener underneath or back to garage? You could check this yourself. Yeah, I mean, just basically try and check the highest point that it's coming from. Yeah, if you lie underneath, you'll probably see a drip of some sorts. it can be very frustrating. I had a leak on my N52 130i, and it took me the best part of a year to find where the leak was coming from. Got there in the end, but yeah, a lot of pain that came out of that. Right, N52 B30 with the magnesium valve cover for the exhaust manifold, George. Yeah, it's like I said, for the N52, I would not be trying to do that, without a lift. If you are planning on keeping the engine in place, you can do it. I'm sure it's doable, but I would lift up the engine at least if you're not going to remove it completely, and just do it in your own time then, rather than trying to get your hands in there and work in basically no space at all. Hi George, thoughts on P052B code on an N52? You need a proper BMW code, so that means that you probably haven't got a sophisticated enough scanner to give you BMW fault codes. P0 codes can be very generic. Like, for example, like you said about the Vanos solenoids, it'll usually come up P0 code whatever, but then it'll say crankshaft position sensor, and it's not the crankshaft position sensor that's bad, it's the Vanos solenoid. So yeah, it's funnily enough, you actually said replace Vanos solenoid, it's the camshaft position sensor code. I didn't even read your fault code. Didn't even read your comment. I don't even know what I'm saying now. But yes, it does say like a P0 code. It will say camshaft position sensor. Sorry, not crankshaft position sensor. When it is the Vanos solenoid. But you said you've replaced Vanos solenoid. It's the camshaft position sensor code. It's accompanied by a rough idle that goes away above 1500 RPM. Which Vanos solenoids have you installed, Omar? Cheap Chinese ones or genuine BMW or Febby ones? Quite hot, 29 degrees tomorrow. Yes, I am not looking forward to it, to be honest. It's kind of good because I have to do a little bit of painting. Painting on a car, of course, not painting inside. I could never bring myself to do that. Yeah, I've got to. I'm going to be painting the wing mirrors on the E60. It's a common problem. The aluminium parts, they oxidize and it flakes off. Happens on pretty much all these 60s. So I'm going to be repainting those, and also going to do the side skirt as well. So yeah, the heat should help, I guess, with that all going off. Can you use any type of new rubber O-ring when installing the injectors, or do the injectors use some special O-rings? The rubber ones, not the copper. Oh, you're on about replacing the upper O-ring. Honestly, I wouldn't chance it with just a regular O-ring. I would just get the BMW ones. There may be a couple of pounds to buy. I would just get there, make sure you have the correct size, and make sure they are the proper ones then. Guys, we still have questions flying in. I appreciate them all, but I'm going to have to say we will be wrapping things up in 2 minutes. So if you have anything last you want to say, I'll try and get through them all, but if I can't, then I do apologize. Austin, I've got BMW 320 diesel smell, as all smell is exhaust fumes, but I can't see where it's leaking from. Wait, Austin, you calling me Austin? My name is George, but yeah, I was thinking maybe you're from like Austin, Texas, then, or something. Yeah, it can be coming from a number of places really. You need to, while your engine's running, get your head in the engine bay really to try and determine exactly where it's coming from. I don't have a question now. Can I reserve a few questions for future, please? If I'm doing one of these in the future, then sure, why not? But like I said, I can't. If you are thinking of sending me questions via email or Facebook or Instagram, whatever, I can't. I just can't respond to them. I'm afraid I don't have the time. If you really need my help on something in particular, then join the Patreon. Let me put a link actually for the Patreon because I keep rambling on about it, but people probably don't even know what it is or where to go to get to it. I'll put it on screen. Should be a link on my channel somewhere, maybe. Let's put this on the screen. This is the link to the Patreon. If anyone wants to check it out, you get some cool features. You can, if you're on the top tier, then you can, like I said, you can contact me with any questions. If you're on the bottom one, that's just your way of showing some appreciation to the channel. If you're in the middle one, then or middle one or above, should I say, you get your name featured on the outro of every single video. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Like I said, I have about 7 people on there at the moment. So if you do want to support the channel in any way, that's a good way you can do so. What's the oldest BMW you've worked on? I'm going to have to say my 1979 BMW 520 E12. Probably it, to be honest. Yeah, guys, I think I'm going to have to wrap things up. I'm very, very sorry. I can still see we have questions coming in now. I do apologize. But I did say I'm going to have to try and restrict this to an hour. We have already ran over. I want to say a massive thanks to everybody who has joined in. Please make sure, if you have not already done so, to hit that thumbs up button. It's greatly appreciated. It doesn't cost a penny. It's just a way that you can show some appreciation for the live stream. I have to say, this has been good fun. Like I said, I don't really do these live streams. I don't really just spend an hour answering questions. But I've enjoyed it. It's been good talking to you guys. It's been good helping you out with any problems that you've had. And hopefully I've been able to do that. Hopefully I've been able to help you out in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I want to also say a massive thanks to everybody who has supported the channel tonight by way of a super sticker. That is, of course, Hank, Liam, and Mine Pop. Greatly appreciated, you guys. Yeah, it really does mean the world. And like I said, everything like that just goes straight towards the garage build. So greatly appreciated. You know what? I'm going to fly through comments real quick, and then we will be going off. When do you recommend scrapping a car versus maintaining it? I always maintain cars. I never scrap them. Keep old cars on the road. Much appreciated. No worries, Ingus. Marlo M. Hi, George. Can you give us a shout out to my mate, Gabe Itch? He's a big fan of your channel. Gabe Itch, shout out to you. Appreciate you watching. Thank you. Thanks, George. No touching my exhaust yet, it seems. I have bad adaptive. Sorry, just muted the mic there. Is it better to replace with non-adaptives and how to do so? You can adjust the beam, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. You put an Allen key in to adjust the beam. The lenses are foggy. You can clean them up as well. Give them a sand and a good polish. You'd be great. I would not replace it for non-adaptive headlights. More hassle than it's worth. No worries, Iris. Thanks for joining. Will do. Thanks for great advice. Looking forward to the garage build. Yes, hopefully I'll have an update on that soon. Literally just skint at the moment though, so trying to do everything on a budget, you could say, until of course we do have more funds available. Meant to put thank you. No worries, Danny. Thank you for coming. Hey, I drive a 320D with N47. Good to know. Thanks very much for the advice, big man. Thanks too for being active on social media groups. I'm in as well. No worries, clean the green. My engine, 520D M47 TU2, won't rev past approximately 3,500 RPM. Neutral in gears. Bought it like this 3 months ago. Shot was changed, the turbo and DPF, no change, no codes. Have you ever experienced this? Sounds like it's in limp mode. So you've got to scan it for codes, to be honest, to do something with it. OEM solenoids. Sorry, Omar, like we've run out of time. I've had more time. I'd try and help you a bit more. Do you know why the ZHP 1960 makes noise in the full load, but only in 5 to 6 gears? No, I don't. Sorry. G32 630D. Maybe bearing worn out. Possibly. I have a E90 328i. My problems to talk about. If you use instant should have fixed on lube guard, how hard it may be to fix the transmission later. I'm not going to recommend you use that sort of stuff, but fill your boots if you wish. Cheers, mate. See you next time. Yep, see you next time too, Andy. Thanks, good vibes, says Iris. Hi there, how are you doing? I have a E65 740 Li. I don't feel it's 40. Is that catalyst converter? If so, I don't feel it's 40. Is that catalyst converter? If so, can I remove it? Will removing it damage my engine? You can remove it if you want. Probably not going to pass an emissions inspection though, if you remove a cat on a petrol. Thanks for your support, George. No worries, Bryce. Yeah, I appreciate your support. I appreciate, you watching, liking, commenting, and all the good stuff that you do. So yeah, I appreciate you, Bryce, and like I said, I hope you're well. Alex says thank you. No worries, Alex Casper. Yep, that's it. I got through all the comments, got there in the end. But yeah, guys, like I said, we're signing off. Massive thanks to you all. I am sweating like an absolute dog in here. So I hope you've all appreciated the live stream, and yeah, over and out. Onto a busy day tomorrow. Thanks, guys, and I will see you all in that next one.